What it do, what it do? It's your boy Tony and Nation. I'm back with another video. You know what I'm saying? We dropping videos every week. This is a segment from Everything Young and More, so it's just continuing. It's just easier to do it this way, yeah? But we're going to get into it. Today's video is 20 lessons I've learned in my 20s. Now, let's get this straight. These are not all the lessons. Life has taught me a lot of lessons. Some I don't even want to talk about on here. I might get a little emotional. But these are just some of them. And then hopefully I'll do a part 2 as we go on. But let's just get to today's top 10 lessons. They're not in any particular order, but I'll number them. Number 1, practice delayed gratification. Thank God I learned this very early on. When I graduated high school, it took me a minute before I figured out exactly what I wanted to do or how I wanted to do it. And I did a lot of spending and less of, and when I'm saying spending, is spending on investing on my business. So I had to do that, and I didn't know if it was gonna pay off. And I wasn't buying drip, but I was not dripping. If you look at me in my pictures from like 2016, 2017, 2015, bro, I was just wearing the same clothes, wearing the same things, because I knew that one day it was gonna pan out. And once I started making profit, I could start doing whatever I want, wearing whatever I want. So I just want to share that with you guys, because that's something that I learned that works. Sometimes it's hard because you want to enjoy things now. You want your cake and you want to eat it now. It doesn't work like that. And I've seen that with many other people who are also successful, and that's why I wanted to point that out, because that's something that I've learned and is actually instilled in me. Number 2, it's okay to feel lost. I know you should feel some type of relief from me just saying that. It's okay to feel lost. Many times I felt lost in my 20s. I'm only 25, so I'm in my mid 20s. I'm about to be 26, but I've felt lost so many times. Sometimes even when, I'm posting on Instagram or whatever online, it may not look like it, but I've had my good share of moments where I felt lost. Let's take it up again. I'm gonna be doing a lot of references with myself, so you can kind of get a picture, and so that I'm also sharing things that actually happened, not just stories from other people or whatever. When I graduated high school and I had that transition to go to college or university, I really did not know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to go to film school, but I didn't know how I wanted to go. I knew I didn't want to go to a 4-year college, because I was like, I'm not trying to learn science. I don't want to know all these other subjects. I just want to study film. I want to be just dope at film. But I couldn't do that because it was super expensive. It was like $80,000 for 3 years. We didn't have that type of money. And I was like, my God, what am I going to do now? Like, I don't feel like I can do any other job. I can't do any other thing. Like, that's where I have interest in. So I felt lost for a minute. I did take a year off. I started shooting a show, Cheka 2 TV. It's a Kenyan Entertainment Swahili's channel on YouTube. Check it out. But yeah, I started shooting that for a whole year. But even with that, I was like, man, how am I going to make a living off of this? Like, what am I really doing? And I was like, you know what? Since I never applied for 4-year college, which, by the way, I could have attended, I was in high honor roll after graduating. But anyway, went to community college, and I took a year and a half. I took a whole year, 2 semesters and another one, so that's 3 semesters, I believe, total at a community college. And I was learning film for the first part. They did have a film class, and then after that, I just didn't really like it, so I started taking business so I can understand how to do business and apply that in my photography, videography, so that I know what I'm doing, right? But even with that, like I did that, and I was like, man, school is just not working out for me. I'm just gonna pursue this career thing on my own, and well, let's just thank God that it worked out. But I did feel lost for the long part of my life, and even now, some things will come up to where I feel like I know what I'm doing, and then it'll be like, oops, I didn't know. And life also throws like curveballs, so just be okay not being okay. You will have some low moments where you're not okay. Go at your own pace. This is number 3. I feel like this is very important. Don't worry about who's doing what. Like, that's one thing I keep telling myself every day, every whatever. Whenever I see people winning, whenever I see people progressing and stuff like that, I just be like, that's them, And I like to put it like this: like, I'm on God's time, and they're on God's time as well. It's just that their time is now. You feel me? Mine is coming, and if it's mine, I just be like, it's my time. But somebody else is coming. But just go at your own pace. Don't rush anything. Yes, I think I've emphasized that pretty well. Do not worry about what other people are doing. Just go at your own pace. There's going to be pressure. There's going to be peer pressure. There's going to have all sorts of pressure, social pressure and all that stuff. But don't worry about any of those things. Just go at your own pace. Number 4, it's okay to fail. Just don't give up on you. I had to put that don't give up on you because sometimes failure can make you feel like you're the failure. Like you could fail in something. Like I was failing in math. I was failing in like math in college, and I was just not good at it. Even in high school, I wasn't good at that, right? But it didn't make me feel like a failure. Like I failed in those subjects, but I wasn't a failure. So, and that's why I say don't give up on you, because it's just the thing that you're doing that just didn't pan out. But you're not a failure. That's not in you. Don't believe that. So it is okay to fail. That's one thing that I've learned, is that it's okay to fail, and don't beat yourself up about it. Just pick yourself up and keep going. In 2020, I lost $12,000 cash on Robinhood, just trying to invest and stuff like that. It was sad, man. It was sad because it was my savings, and I was like, oh my God, my life is over and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just crazy, but I never let that define me. I picked myself up and kept going. And, the next year was 2020. The same year, I think, was it the same year I lost money? It's the same year I paid off my car. Like, it's so crazy, but anyway, that worked out. So, it's okay to fail. Just don't give up on yourself. And then this is another number 5, but it's like a subtopic, but I want to add it there. I think you should fail now, while you're in your 20s, when you're early 20s, than like later, because you can make mistakes now and you still be fine. You know what I mean? Like, you still be fine. Like, say something doesn't pan out this year, try it next year. You still have time. So fail now and then succeed later. Put in the time now. Yeah. Number 6. This one has been hard. And I think the older I get, the more it really hits. Is that friendships don't last forever. People I was going to school with in high school, even in college, and people who I knew in my community and I was hanging out with, I don't really hang out with them as much. And it's not because of we have issues or anything like that. It's just people have different things that they're doing. We're all busy. We're all growing up. We're all at a point in our life where we're figuring out our stuff. We're discovering ourselves. And people want to go different ways. Like, you know what I mean? So you're going to get to a point where you're going to feel like, oh my God, I don't have any friends. I'm losing friends and whatnot. I think that's just a normal part of life. I've talked to the friends that I still have and shared that with them, and they have the same thing happening around them too. So don't be afraid. You will lose friends. Friendships will change, but you will get new friends and you will get better friendships. I just really wanted to emphasize on that because it's happened to me. Another thing is I touched on this about going at your own pace. This is don't compare yourself to others. It might sound like I'm repeating myself, but I really want you to know this. Do not compare yourself to others. Like, and I don't even want to be like very personal, but I remember like when I was younger, I would do certain things that maybe were not good, and maybe one of my parents would just be like, "Oh, you should be more like so and so. You need to be like more like so and so." But it's like, bro, you don't want to be like so and so. You don't want to be like anybody else. You should always aim to be just like yourself, because there's nobody else that's better at being you than you, and the gifts that are in you are not in anybody else. And I really believe in gifting. So I'm going to be talking about that on this channel like a lot. The stuff that's in you are only in you. So you should always aim to be like yourself. If so-and-so got a new pair of shoes, don't worry about it. Like, you don't know how they bought it. Maybe they financed it. Maybe they got a new car. You don't know how much the car note is. And I'm not saying they do have a car note. It's just that you don't know their story. You don't know if, their parents bought it for them. Like, don't go and put yourself in debt trying to compare yourself and trying to be like others. That is number 7. Number 8. This one, if you haven't watched my last video, you should definitely check out. But it's take risks. In your 20s, you should take risks. I've learned that to take risks in my 20s, and it's really helped me, because taking risks is what makes you have a different perspective of your season or your life. Because, for example, not going to school and then chasing my career, going after my career, that yielded different results than I would have had if I went to college, and even buying a house at a very young age. It was a very scary thing to do. It's still a scary thing to do, because it's like, bro, you don't really like know how you're gonna afford it. Like I said in my last video, which you should check out, my job is seasonal. Like, sometimes like it has high seasons and low seasons, and sometimes I make more and sometimes I don't. And it's like, bro, how am I supposed to do that? But see, with taking risks, I've been able to do certain things with my house that allow me to be able to continue living and stress free. And even now, I'm working on another project to expand my house, but I don't want to talk too much about that. But I just want to say that I wouldn't have been able to do that, and that opportunity wouldn't have been presented to me if I hadn't taken a risk to go after that. You know what I mean? Same thing when I bought my car. I bought a car and I was getting started into photography, and I didn't know how I was gonna do it. But I told my mom, like, hey, I want to get a new car, and I don't want to order a car, but I'll be able to pay for it, and I'll pay you monthly, not knowing that I was going to be able to pay off the car super early on. So take risks and believe in yourself that you can do it. You will do it, man or woman, right? All right. So number 9, this one is very important. I think you should learn to prioritize yourself. Learn to say no to certain things. I've learned to prioritize myself. And by that, sometimes I just treat myself like, cause life is hard. Like I know I'm 25. There's probably like, what's so hard about being like in life? You're so young. You probably put the stress on yourself, but life is hard, and you have to find ways to calm your mind. For me, it's music. I like listening to music, so I'll listen to music. I don't really do these days. Like I try to get like a day off to where I just spend with myself, but I'll end up doing some work and stuff. But I like ice cream, so I'll go eat ice cream. There's this spot in Sacramento, if you don't know, Gunther's, tap in. I'll go eat ice cream. I'll spend time with myself. And sometimes I just do this solo. And then just enjoy and I've been doing that for like, I think the last 2 years, ever since I was put on to that spot. So learn to prioritize yourself, go on trips, get massages, get your pedicure, get your manicure. I do all those things. I'm not just saying them. So prioritize yourself because you need you to do life. That's something I've learned in my 20s. The last thing I've learned is to take care of my health, and by that, I'm saying like, my 20s is where I can choose to either make or break the next few years of my life. By that, I mean, it's like, I can choose to like start drinking, start smoking and doing all that stuff. But instead, I'd rather, I go to the gym. Even if I'm not going to go and do much, like I'll go to the gym, I'll drink a lot of water. I'll try to like, do things that are not damaging to my body or my health. I do checkups. So you should get checkups from your doctor every so on. Like, don't just ignore, don't just think you're fine. Just get checked up. Like, care about yourself and, just put your health first. Like, you shouldn't do anything that compromises your health is what I would like to say. And on that note, those are the 10 things that I have learned in my 20s. Those are not everything. And until next time, peace.